Hello and welcome to another session of India Employer Forum's Samvaad, our dialogue series where we bring together leaders to explore how the world of work is evolving. I am Pratik Sen and I am the Vice President and Regional Business Head for Team Lead Services Limited, and I will be your host and moderator for today's conversation. The topic for today is very apt and very contemporary. Now, the topic for today is building workforce resilience at scale, HR leadership in a volatile business environment. Now, before we start on this particular topic, so a little bit of a background on what India Employer Forum is. It is a non-profit community that brings aspects of employment, employability, and ease of doing business at the forefront for preparing India at 100. And we in Team Leads, we happen to be a knowledge partner to support India Employer Forum. Now, before introducing to our esteemed guest, just a few pointers and a context setting about this particular topic. So, as you know, that Indian organizations are operating in a period of sustained volatility, marked by fluctuating demand cycles, regulatory complexities, then accelerated digitization, and a workforce that is simultaneously stretched and evolving. In the in the in the environment, HR leadership is no longer defined by efficiency of processes alone. The mandate has expanded to stabilize the workforce during disruption, build capability at speed, enable productivity without erosion, and ensure leadership depth across layers. Now, to discuss these issues today, we have with us Mr. Arvind Srivastava, who is the President HR of Akums Drugs and Pharmaceuticals Limited. With over 29 years of comprehensive experience in human resources leadership, he has built and led people management functions across manufacturing plants and corporate offices, driving organization restructuring, HR process restructuring, and the implementation of innovative people solutions. His career spans diverse industries including pharmaceuticals, power and steel, automobiles, chemicals, then garments, leather, and appliances, where he has consistently aligned HR strategy with business objectives to deliver measurable outcomes, ranging from improved productivity and cost optimization to enhanced employee engagement and organizational effectiveness. So, thank you very much, Mr. Arvind, for joining us. It's a great pleasure to have you on board.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you for making me part of this journey. And I think thanks for the team to giving me this opportunity to keep my insight for all these points.
Yeah, Mr. Arvind, I think what I have seen is, your career has spanned diverse industries, like I just mentioned, right? Pharmaceuticals, power and steel, automobiles, chemicals, garments, leather, appliances. Now, I mean, you have led HR across large, complex organizations, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
So how have you seen the role of HR evolve, and what does it take for HR to truly function as a strategic anchor for business resilience and long-term value creation?
Right. So, I mean, every function is evolving day by day because every day there is a new tool and technology coming in, a lot of expectation from the customers coming in. So, like every other functions, HR has evolved completely. So, it was more or less administrative and doing activities, a doer kind of role that you have to serve the industry, to serve the customer, internal customers. But nowadays the role is completely changed because you are the only one who is responsible for people development. Because when you need to get your people ready for the new technology, new processes, new expectation from the customer, so I think that responsibility lies with HR. And at the same time, earlier, it was more or less doing activity. Once the strategy is final, then HR comes in picture to execute the things. Now the scene is changed. You are an integral part to strategize the things. Human-centric approach is the main in the core agenda of any organization. So somehow if you're planning your business expansion, any planning for next financial year, I think HR has to take a lead that what kind of business expansion you're going to do. Do we have that right people in place or not? And accordingly, you need to strategize first and then need to put it in action to get those results, what is expected from the customer. So role is changed, and especially now it is not on the co-partner or co-pilot seat. It is on the mainstream, and you have to design. Earlier, it was cus- custodian of policies and process. Now you are designing those policies and process according to the business requirement. So, I mean, somehow the business is changed, the requirement is changed, and HR has evolved to meet out that expectation.
No, I think very aptly said, Mr. Arvind. So I think from your experience, like I mentioned, from the various sectors that you've worked in, so little bit digressing. I mean, out of this, segment that I spoke of, which happened to be your most challenging, I mean, industry, just for my understanding.
See, when you are, I mean, I have, it was, I mean, I was blessed that I have diverse industry exposure.
Right.
HR is same, but every industry has its own challenges, own
Mm,
priorities. Somehow
mm,
you need to implement certain HR policies, process, and practices,
mm,
keeping those challenges and priorities in mind.
mm,
And somehow, when, for example, I'm working with pharma industry.
mm.
The major challenge is because, see, regulatories are more important in
Yeah,
pharma.
yeah, yeah.
Somehow you need to keep the people trained. Nobody come inside the plant where, I
Right,
mean, whether he is unskilled or skilled. I mean,
right,
our focus is to he should be imbibed with the culture of the organization because he has to take every precaution what we need to take. So the responsibility of HR lies with that everybody who is coming in for process, for execution of work, for doing anything in the plant.
right,
I think he needs to be trained enough to follow those culture, and that culture means that you need not to make any extra effort to make that. I mean, that should be part of your culture, you routine activities. And once you do it for next 10 days, that will become an habit. So we need to inculcate that kind of culture to each and every people, those who are coming inside the plant. So, I mean, similarly, the challenges in auto industries are different. The challenges in sales
absolutely.
industries are different. HR has to play a role of catalyst because you need to put your extra effort to make
Mm.
each and every one comfortable, aligned with those requirement, and then you can design and plan of action
True.
accordingly.
Right, right. Well said, well said. I think, I mean, very aptly put, Mr. Arvind. There's another point that I just wanted to, ask you. So, as organizations scale, okay, now productivity expectations also rise. So obviously that the demand nowadays, it's actually prevalent all across. Productivity expectations is always there, but so do fatigue, attrition, and execution pressures, right? Especially it's across all the levels, but then especially if I talk about it's on predominantly on the frontline teams who actually have to bear the brunt. Now, from your experience, what people practices actually work on the ground to sustain performance without burning out the workforce?
Very rightly asked question. See, in at shop floor,
Right.
every time, everyone who is working at shop floor, they emphasize on productivity. Every time productivity is the talk of the town, that everybody is talking about their productivity. But at the
Yes.
same time, we need to ensure that well-being of the people, those who are working at shop floor. And
Right.
that would be possible only when you are transparent.
Mm.
People at the bottom level, at the last corner of the plant, should know that what is the purpose of these, any kind of initiative, whether it is related with productivity, whether it is related with automation, whether it is related with any AI driven activity, whatever. I mean, your communication should be clear, and the doer should know that it is more important that why we are doing that activities, instead of knowing this what I need to do.
Yes.
So if they know the purpose of each and every activity, I think you could. Second, you should have a proper portal, proper platform to put out their grievances if they have any kind of a stress. Well-being doesn't mean that you are conducting any health camp for them, or you are organizing festivals or any other recreational activities. I think when you are able to make that connect with each and everyone at shop floor, I think your job is done. They should know that if they are stressed, they have any kind of issue, they have to say anything, they have to suggest anything, and proper platform, proper forum is there to put out their thoughts, their stress, their anything. And then only you will be able to know that what kind of improvement we can make at shop floor. And that will work as a stress buster in that case. And then only you will be able to get that productivity what you want. So that piece you need to take care of, especially when you are working in any manufacturing org.
No, I think, Mr. Arvind, what I gather from what you said is essentially productivity is the output rather than, you say productivity has to be done. So for that, you need to work on the input factors. Now, like you rightly mentioned about, the caring bit of any organization. So how you care for them, how you make them feel that you are there for them, right expectation settings, right policy implementation, and that is how it gives rise to productivity. It is not very unfair for many of the organizations in which they feel that I have to increase productivity, but then they don't look at the fatigue bit of it, the attrition bit of it, the pressure
Exactly.
bit of it, and that is how I think many organizations falter.
Yeah.
I'm sure with your diverse experience and all, see, HR has now become a very complicated stuff. Earlier, people used to say HR is just, कुछ नहीं salary processing करते हैं, and then it is, employees for about satisfaction levels, some surveys, etc. But then now it's become very complex. My experience now is HR is the fulcrum of any organization as of now.
Exactly. I mean, rightly said that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mr. Arvind, so another point that comes to my mind is, as of now it has become a norm, right? Like the volatility or regulatory change or ambiguity. Now these are no longer exceptions, right? These have become the norm. So now the third question that comes in my mind is, which leadership capabilities have you found most critical in such conditions, and how can HR deliberately build these capabilities across frontline, mid-level, and senior management?
Ambiguity is no more, I mean, as you said, it's a
Hmm.
part and parcel of your
Absolutely.
corporate life.
Hmm.
And you will not get anything which is in black and white only.
Hmm.
Sometimes there are certain things which are in gray, and you
Right,
need to be. What I
right.
believe that every level, whether it is junior management level, mid level, or senior level, I
Hmm.
think you need to look at 3 points which are very important. And that's the job of leader, whether you are working at any level. I
Right.
think first of all, you need to be little bit flexible. Flexible in the sense that you need to focus on results. Processes may, because tools, technology are changing,
Hmm.
it may be possible that once you are in the process, there are certain things which is coming in as a showstopper. Then you
Right.
need to be flexible. Second, you need to have that potential to align the team with the changes, with this
Hmm.
kind of transformation. And that would be only possible when you will come with the purpose. And that's why I am focusing on clear cut and effective communication to each and every one, that why we are doing that. Or most of the organizations does the things only for what you need to do. They go, they say, they communicate that you need to do all these things.
Hmm.
But nobody talks about that why we are doing all these things. So I
Right.
think we need to focus on why part.
Hmm.
Third, I think third one is that I think you need to be little bit ready for plan B.
Right.
If, for example, if you have to achieve certain results, there are certain ambiguity which is coming in place, and you are clear, you know the business, you know the priorities. I think you will be able to easily explain those things and then modify those requirements, and then you can go for, I mean, you are ready to for the action. So these 3 things, one is flexibility, second one is this understanding those of business, and third one is capability to align the business, align the people, those who are working with you as a team. I think these 3 things where we need to focus in this word of ambiguity, which is very much required for every, I mean, whether you are a section in charge, departmental head, or any functional head. I think these 3 things are very much required for.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo that. So essentially, nowadays, lots of uncertainty is going around, right? Whether it's a, immediate environment, or it can be a macro environment, it can be a micro environment, and based off on that, lots of, flexibility has to be displayed. One of the point that you mentioned was flexibility. I think this is one thing. While flexibility is a very loosely used term, but I think flexibility in the sense that you are meaning is actually is what is required right now. For that, capability development also has to be done. One
The
cannot,
only
yeah,
the only point which I would I mean, which I tell to be cautious,
yes,
temporary. adjustment, temporary compromises should not be there. But
Absolutely.
yes, flexibility is all okay for any organization. I think I would wait for this.
Absolutely. 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 So that brings me to another related question. So that is, skills requirements today are changing faster, right, than the traditional hiring and training models the, that can models can keep pace with, right? Now, my query and my question to you would be, how should organizations rethink talent management and capability building to balance the immediate operational needs with long-term workforce readiness? Now, there will be certain scenarios where you require immediately, right? Some immediate operation needs comes up, and then you have to, probably look at which people will fit in, whether new recruitment needs to happen, etc. And obviously there's a long-term thing. So, but then you have to, as HR, balance it, right? So, how should organizations rethink on the talent management and capability building to balance this?
See, in every growing organization these days, I think they are focusing on training. Large of budget. I mean, if you talk about HR budget, most of the budget is for the training and developing people because people know that technologies are coming in, processes are getting changed, and the irony is that you are not going to get trained resource in the market, so you
Right.
can hire easily. So when it comes to training, then why not we need to train our people, those who are existing in our companies, our system. That would be easier because they know the culture, they know the system. It
Right.
is now the organization has realized that if you not train the people,
Mm,
then I think it would be more harmful for the company. So they are
mm,
putting extra effort for this training. Now, training is two part. One is IDPs when we are focusing on individual development because we have huge data in place. These days, everything is in database, so you have huge data. You can plan individual development training programs, considering that what kind of requirement he or she has. So one is that. Second, we in our organization, we are also focusing MDP, my development plan. The
mm,
individual also suggesting that to execute this, to improve that productivity, to enhance his performance, what kind of skill set, what kind of training he or she needs,
mm,
and that
mm,
helps us. We have a continuous dialogue with each and every one individual who is working with us. It is very rigorous process and very structured one where we need to get that what is going in his mind in terms of his development, his career
mm,
progression.
mm, mm.
And truly speaking, we are getting a very complicated but very easy data that how we should plan their training program. So MDP, IDP, and at the same time, when we are focusing on this training and development program, I think we need to explain. Again, I'm telling you that we need to explain that what is
Right.
the purpose, what is expected from them, and if
Mm,
we are able to communicate them clearly that these are the expectations from this training program, I think they will put their best efforts to. That will help you to retain the talent. That will help you to get your future ready workforce. And third, which is most important, that if anything comes in, that gives you a confidence that we are ready. We are ready for future. If there is anything which will come in, whether it is tool, whether it is technology or the situation or the market situation, we are well ready to cope up with the situation. So training is the hardcore priority of every HR, especially in manufacturing
right.
organization where we are growing like anything.
I think you're right in that sense. Also, the fact that, because of the training, you make future ready workforce also on a temporary basis in case you need to use the services of some of your existing employees. So I think that gives them also a career progression. So normally what happens is people are tired of, the mundane job that they do, right? On a daily
Exactly.
basis, they're doing the same thing. So they also feel recognized in the sense that, the moment you give them training, make them suitable for additional roles or different roles. I think this monotony goes away, right? And that is one of the probably ways of reducing attrition. The monotony as of now, especially if I speak about, I'm sure that with your experience, you have seen people of different generations as well. If I talk about the present generation, Generation X, not Generation X, Generation Z, Now, Generation Z are very impatient bit, right? So in that scenario also, probably what they look is refreshing of the rules from time to time. So I think one of the things that you
And
mentioned,
that
yeah,
also gives a solution to your question number second, that
yeah,
it works as a stress buster because they need not to have any kind of fear in terms
right,
of their career progression. And when they are trained, you are recognizing, rewarding
mm,
these people. I
mm,
think that job security, retention, productivity, everything comes in with the kind of effort. So
absolutely,
that is very much aligned with the process.
right. So one of the questions that I have also been thinking hard, and this is one of the asked questions sometimes in some of the forums. So if you see the next few years, will be the next few years will significantly expand the HR mandate. Okay, especially from compliance and workforce models to technology and trust. Right now, looking ahead. Now, if I have to define the time ahead, that is 3 to 5 years. If I just have to set that horizon, what will differentiate effective HR leaders in India, especially as organizations navigate the new labor code? Now, there are new labor code that has just come into effect.
Yeah.
Workforce flexibility and compliance expectations and technology-led transformation.
What I believe that HR is somehow, I mean, going
Yeah,
to be very challenging for these coming
right,
times.
right.
One is that when trans technology comes in, a lot of ambiguity are there in terms of their job securities. The major job role of HR is to communicate effectively that what is coming in. Second, I mean, we need to ensure that AI or new technology is not to replace these resources, but to enhance their efficiency.
Hmm,
So if you are able to tell them that it is not human versus AI, I think it is human with AI that will
absolutely.
work very closely. Second, what I believe that you have to be well connected with the people,
Hmm,
so that I think in this world, in this time when technologies are enabling you to do everything, I think as a HR, we need to learn that what kind of activity we should not do with AI or technology. Human touch is always very important. I think I still believe that if that part is missing, I think you will lose, and no technology, no tool will be effective. So I think we need to relearn these things, that how to make ourselves accessible, connected with the people, and well communicated strategy that yes, if we are doing a new thing, we are coming in with any kind of new tool and technology, I think you will be the first one to know that why we are doing this, and you are well secured. We are investing on you for your development, for your retention, for your productivity, everything. So I think once we are able to do that, I think every part of HR is done. So that would be a skill, what I believe, which is completely missing these days. Everybody thinks, in especially in IT industry, where an HR
Yes.
doesn't meet to any individual. I
Hmm,
think
hmm.
that we need to relearn that ultimately connecting with the people, making yourself accessible to them, listening them properly, resolving their issues, making them comfortable while answering any kind of ambiguity or any kind of clarity. I think that would be the major challenge for HR professional in next 2 3 years.
No, very aptly said, Sharvin, because I still recollect, this people connect that you are talking about. Okay, now this used to be one of the mantras of erstwhile HR. Now some people say that that is obsolete. See, personal touch can never be obsolete. It can never be obsolete. AI will come. AI is what is AI? AI is emotionless, right? So it is. I mean, if somebody would have programmed it, and based on that, that output comes. You rightly mentioned how we can synergize this humans with AI. That is the most important thing, and who better than HR can do that,
So
right?
HR has to take a lead, and believe me that this human connect, empathy will always be the center of or center point of excellence. I mean, without that, I mean, you cannot think even for achieving those productivity excellence in any field. So, I mean, what I believe that these
Yeah.
are the things where we need to focus on in next, I mean, in future.
Also, the fact, Mr. Arvind, I think while HR, this we are expecting HR to do it. It's it's responsibility of all the other functions also to be in that. So HR can enable it. They can make policies, they can walk the talk, they can show the way. Ultimately, HR cannot reach out to each and every individual. It is the
Exactly.
different business units, etc., who have to take the departments who have to take care of this particular thing. So I think very useful discussions. I think I'm enlightened to extent of many of the points that you mentioned. So I take away some of the points like flexibility. Definitely yes, that is required. People connect. AI technology in the technology AI human connect, and of course this leadership flexibility like we already mentioned on the how we adapt ourselves to the situation, how HR can play an enabling role. So I think thanks Mr. Arvind for this session. uh, it was lovely learning from you. So hoping to catch up with you in the near future with more such topics, interesting topics.